Hello, my name is Colin Cray from Klarna, and today as part of the Insightseries, I'm here speaking with Gordon Newman from Lifestyle Sports. So, Gordon, how are things?
Good.
Great to see you. So we're going to talk today about replatforming onto e-commerce solutions, and you've had a very recent positive experience with your own business. If you could tell us a little bit about the journey that you started when you were looking at the e-commerce requirements for Lifestyle Sports.
Our e-commerce journey started about 5 years ago. We launched e-commerce operations back in 2012, and during that time, the business grew. We launched mobile, we launched in-store, and as we were coming towards the next phase of our journey, we started to look at platforms that had more capability to support our growth. At the same time, we were to a certain degree forced our hand with the existing platform that we were operating was actually being closed. So that actually gave us impetus to choose a new platform that was fit for purpose. So as we were considering the replatform, we went to market to look at the best options for the future for us, with lots of considerations. Those kind of considerations would have included total cost of ownership, the ability for the platform to scale and to grow with our business, support our new international channels, and also support our omni-channel business as part of a broader technology transformation that we're running across the Lifestyle Sports business.
Yeah, so something that is not taken lightly. This is a significant business decision. So being able to win hearts and minds in the business and to engage with senior leadership and all of the different parties involved in the decision. Could you tell us a little bit about the process that you go through to engage with those decision makers internally?
Well, omni-channel is a core part of the Lifestyle Sports strategy, and we understand that our customers, they want to shop with us in store, they want to shop with us online, they want to shop with us on mobile as multiple touch points. We want that experience to be as consistent as possible, so that when you engage with our brand, however you choose to do that, you do that in a way that leaves you feeling that you've had great service throughout, you were able to easily find the products that you were looking for, that you were supported with great information. And that might be from a store sales team member, or that might be through one of our digital channels. So in terms of board support, the board support therefore is there for an omni-channel for our omni-channel strategy. And that exists. So that makes the engagement process much easier. It then becomes about choosing the right fit platform and the right fit strategy for our digital business.
Yeah. And in terms then of the market and what are the options that are out there? There's software as a solution, platform as a solution, in-premise, etc. What were the key technical considerations when you were looking at the requirements?
Well, the first thing that we looked at was which supports our business better, and what are our core skills as a business. Ultimately, we're a retailer. So whilst technology is a really important part of retail, we're not a technology business. So that leads us to make decisions about how much investment do we want to make in owning and operating core infrastructure. And naturally that leads us towards the cloud. Yeah. So when making the decision for which cloud platform to choose or which SaaS platform to choose, we then looked at a number of factors. That would start off with the capabilities of the actual platform itself, the growth trajectory of the platform, who else is using the platform, and other businesses of our size and our ambition, which of those businesses were most analogous to ours. And that leads you to a small number of potential platform choices. So then it comes down to what the roadmap of the platform looks like, what the roadmap of that platform has been, and what recent technical delivery has been delivered on that platform, and how the platform fits. So can we as a team operate well on that platform? Is it easy for us to manage our production processes and deliver product quickly to customers? Can we manage some of the marketing tools within the platform? So there's a multitude of then choices that we needed to make.
Yeah. So having identified a shortlist, if you will, of potential platforms, a key component in that would be your system integrator, your SI. So when you think about the requirements to deliver on the technical part of it, and you being the retail experts and the SI being the technical expert, what are the sort of things, what are the attributes that you look for with an SI partner?
The first thing that we look for within our business is cultural fit. So do the people that are going, or are the people that are going to be working on that project with you, they are long projects, they are difficult projects, and sometimes there can be some quite difficult conversations. So it all starts with people for us. Does the team that the SI want to put in place, and actually are the team that are working platform side, fit with the team that we have in our business? Can we work together? And then from there, does the SI have a track record in successfully delivering projects on time? Have they delivered projects of similar scale, similar scope? And do they understand what we're trying to achieve? And I think when you've ticked those boxes, that makes the project delivery much smoother and much easier.
Yeah, very good. So, and then once that selection is complete with the system integrator, it's then a process of the beauty parade in terms of selecting the contenders for that. So when you think about lots of other businesses out there that have replatformed, certainly you read about mistakes that have been made in the past about typically underestimating the cost involved. So being mindful of that, what did you do to ensure that you captured all of the costs? So when we talk about total cost of ownership, what are the sort of things that you considered as part of that exercise?
Well, there's the initial cost of deploying the platform. So you have a capital investment that the business needs to make on licensing, on that initial build, on design, and actually on project delivery. And then you've other considerations. So how much is that platform going to cost to operate once you have gone live or once you've cut over onto your new platform? And those costs include general platform operating costs, the cost of actually making a transaction, and the cost of the team that's required to support that. And of course, the great thing about e-commerce is that you're never finished. So it's really important that you build in for your ongoing plan, the further investment stages for additional phases after you've cut over. You don't just build and it's finished. You build and almost cut over is really the starting point. Once you've done that and once you've gone live, you then have the opportunity to further develop the customer proposition and the user experience.
Absolutely, yeah. And from talking with you, it seems to have been a positive experience, and that you've come through this fairly serious undertaking and shift in business almost. So what are the lessons that you've learned so far in that journey? Because you started the replatform nearly a year ago.
We started the replatform in October 2017 and it was delivered in April 2018. So it was a relatively tight project. The key things that we wanted to do was ensure that we were set up for success. And that meant making sure that our internal team and resources were aligned around the project. Everybody knew what the expectations were. Every partner that we had and other stakeholders within the business knew the timeline that we were trying to achieve and what would be required of them. Part of that process also involved daily communication, keeping the rest of the business, the rest of your team, and all the other teams working on the project up to speed with things that are going well and, crucially, things that are not. The project wasn't without its bumps and it wasn't without its challenges, but when everybody understands what you're trying to achieve, when you need to achieve it by, and you have the right skills in place, then you can get the project delivered on time.
Gordon, could you tell us a little about the shortlist of contenders and who they were?
Our shortlist was distilled down to four main providers: Salesforce, Oracle, SAP, and Magento. And as part of our assessment for that, one of the key things was ease of implementation. Which of those platforms could we run? And back to our point about infrastructure. We're not an infrastructure business, so therefore the cloud was the natural choice for us. That then meant that a couple of those potential candidates there were really scored off because their cloud offering wasn't strong. And really then that came down to the next choice, which was ease of operation. The functional tick boxes that we looked at, they're all fairly similar. So it's then which platform felt right for our business, and crucially the team that we're going to be running that on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and from a practical point of view, that request for pricing process, the RFP, was that run internally, or did you have a third party running that competition for you?
We took some third-party support to help us through our selection process, and we did that for a number of reasons. The main one was to provide objectivity. As much as we like to say that we're not biased, there are internal biases within every business towards a certain platform. Maybe somebody's worked on it before, maybe somebody's used to working on that, maybe somebody has relationships with sales teams and with operational teams within those other platforms. So taking some objective third-party support helps you stand back and really distill down to the things that are important to your business. What are those functional requirements that you have, and how does the platform fit against the functional need of the business and the cultural needs of the business?
Not only did you undertake an RFP for your e-commerce replatform, you also undertook a separate RFP for your middleware solution. So that's a pretty significant undertaking. Can you tell us a little bit about the middleware part of that transformation process?
Our business is currently undergoing an end-to-end transformation program. We're looking at ways in which we can improve our operations from ERP through to financials, buying, merchandising, POS, and e-commerce. So in order to support that, we need an integration layer, a piece of middleware that would allow us to run our legacy systems whilst we work through this program of change. So at the same time as selecting our e-commerce platform, the business selected brand new middleware and a brand new approach to integration.
Very good. I mean, for people outside of the retail space, there won't be an appreciation for the level of detail, sophistication, and interruption to the business that happens while you're going through that process. All the time, you're still trying to run the business. So how do you, just even from as a people manager and the team around you, how do you keep people motivated during that process? Because they still got their day job while also delivering on this new transformation strategy. So just even from a practical point of view, how do you keep the team going?
Timing is really important. There's never a good time to introduce that level of disruption. What we worked to do was ensure that people were focused on not only their day job, but the specific component of their platform that related to them. So the workload was divided fairly equally across the team. The team were obviously excited to be getting a new platform, so keeping everybody updated on progress and setting that expectation around when they're actually going to get their brand new platform to work on was really important throughout the process. It required a lot of hard work, many hours from every member of the team, but keeping that end goal in mind was important throughout the entire project.
Very good. So Gordon, having gone through this transformation, can you describe the customer journey now with this new capability, this new technology that you have built into your business? So
if somebody walks into our store, for the last 3 or 4 years, they've been able to speak to a sales team member or go over to a kiosk and actually complete a transaction with one of our team members in every single one of our stores. So as part of this program, we needed to ensure that was maintained and then improved upon. So one of the big challenges that we had was customer data wasn't then available to the tablet devices that the guys have in the stores. So one of the benefits of the new platform now is that we recognize you. We know you. We know what you like. We know what you've bought previously. And we know what you're likely to want to buy when you talk to one of our sales team members in our stores. So when you're ordering online with one of those guys or girls, then they will be able to get your transaction processed quicker, get it processed and delivered to wherever you want it to be delivered, be that home, office, back into the store, or even if you're visiting us, they can ship that to pretty much any country around the world. So it gives our sales team members that flexibility and those tools to be able to have proper, meaningful conversations with customers and match them with the products that they really like if they're not in the store's assortment already.
With the replatform completed and the customer engagement now being even richer than previous, can you describe the journey for a typical lifestyle sports customer, specifically on the mobile journey?
We've built everything from a mobile-first perspective, and the vast majority now of our e-commerce transactions are actually made using a mobile device. So when we built that out, we focused on the integration of great content. We focused on making that mobile transaction experience as quick and as easy as possible, opening up as many payment and delivery methods that we could, as well as making the browse and search experience quite finely tuned and focusing on the speed of delivery to a mobile device. So that's quite a lot to bundle together. So there are different teams within the business working on those different components of capability. And what that means for our customers now is that our mobile site is very, very rapid. So you can transact quickly on it. You can find whatever it is you're looking for, or you can engage with some of the content that we've made. And where we make content, we try and make that as unique as possible and as relevant to that audience as possible. So the trick for us was making sure that we could deliver that to a mobile device without actually interrupting the commerce experience. So a lot of time was spent with our UX team and our creative teams, building that content through, building those journeys through. And then, of course, it's up to you where you have that parcel delivered. So we focus very much on next day delivery. It's a core part of our proposition, and we make sure that throughout the whole site, that timer is ticking and that time is very prominent to actually show customers how much longer they have to place their order so that they can receive it the following day.
In terms of the importance of omnichannel within lifestyle sports, personalization plays a big part in your strategy. So could you talk a little bit about some of the use cases that you have, looking at what that typical journey looks like for a lifestyle sports customer?
Absolutely. So the typical lifestyle sports customer will shop with us in many ways. We're an omni-channel business. So they may shop with us on mobile, they may shop with us in store, they may shop with us with a sales team member using an iPad in one of our stores. So we need to make sure that that experience is as consistent as possible throughout all of those touch points, and that we are aware of who the customer is. And the key to doing that is capturing the data that is relevant and making sure that that's applied in a way that's relevant to the customer experience, both in terms of communications and service delivery, and that we understand the unique components about each customer. So whether we're making an additional product recommendation to them, or whether we're talking about one of our concepts to them, that we make sure that that message that they receive at the end of whatever communications mechanism we're using is as relevant as possible. So we use all of those data touch points to actually build a picture of the individual customer. Our business is concept driven. So we sell in fashion, football, rugby, training, women's categories. And what we try and do is keep those categories as pure as possible, so that if you shop women's studio with us and you have no interest in football, we don't talk to you about football. But if you shop Women's Studio and you do have an interest in Boot Room and you have an interest in football with us, that you actually receive a balanced mix of communications from us, and the product that we recommend to you is as balanced as possible. And that all comes from the data collection points that we have.
Gordon, with the use of data being such a key enabler with any successful business, can you tell us a little bit about what solutions, what additional plugins the business is using to help with that data mining?
Well, one of the key selection factors that we had around our platform was ease of integration with other tools and other services that we might use. So we have a new BI platform which captures all of our transactional data, integrates with Google 360. We have a separate platform that captures customers' email addresses at the point of sale in our store and data around what they actually purchased. We do that using email receipts. It's a great service for customers, and it gives us the ability to then link those store transactions together with the e-commerce transactions to build up a picture of that omni-channel shopper, where they like to shop, what they like to buy, when they like to buy that. So that enables us to build a picture around the customer so that we can keep our communications relevant and, of course, GDPR compliant.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So integration with these tools, with our data warehouse, with our various display advertising tools, with our various email tools and databases around customers, integrating those via our middleware was a crucial component of the project.
And in terms then of the key stakeholders in the business, whether it's at the CXO level or your consumer base, another stakeholder in that is your team and all of your colleagues working from a fulfillment perspective, customer services, etc. How has the replatform enabled their world? How has that improved the way that they operate?
From a customer services perspective, the team there have great visibility on the progress of orders. From an operations perspective, we're able to more accurately forecast the order volumes and the item volumes that will be passed through to our fulfillment teams, which helps with resourcing. Crucially, from an e-commerce production perspective, we've been able to speed up our e-commerce production processes. Upload of imagery, upload of product descriptions, upload of content has been made much quicker, much more efficient, and that allows us to focus less on the process of uploading the content and more on the process of making great content for customers.
So Gordon, could you tell us a little bit about the process that you went through to decide cutover?
Cutover is obviously one of the most important components of the project, and it's really that make or break moment of has the project been successful or not. And what the team did was focus on actually minimizing the cutover time so that it could be as short as possible. So a number of dry runs took place prior to the live cutover. Our S.E.O. team worked intensively on ensuring all of our redirects were enabled, and we had to line up both our live provider, our existing e-commerce platform team, our new platform team, our SI, our middleware team, and that's really the point at which everybody needs to be completely aligned. We had a minute-by-minute plan of how cutover would run and the tests that we would have performed, and we had live updates. So Conference Bridge remained open throughout the entire cutover process, and a team of about 20 people worked on the actual cutover itself. Cutover was successful. I think we experienced about 15 minutes worth of downtime, and then we were back up and trading. And that's the key thing, is to keep the business moving. Hopefully customers wouldn't have noticed the disruption, The site design looked very similar to the existing, so it would have just looked like a design refresh that made the site go a little bit faster. The other key thing within Cutover was ensuring that customer data and passwords were ported over to the new site. And that was quite a challenging part of the process. But had we have not done that and asked customers to re-register, we were sure that we would have had a large number of customers dropping out of checkout. So we worked quite hard in the early stages of the project to mitigate against that.
And was there a particular day of the week that you had chosen for Cutover?
Yes. So we chose a Tuesday. Tuesday is heading towards the middle of the week. If there was an issue or we did need to roll back, there was lots of resource available at our existing platform provider and at our new platform provider and our SI. So rather than disrupt at a weekend, we went for a midweek cutover.
Yeah, sounds like a fantastic, fascinating experience. So having come through this journey and looking at all of the lessons that you've learned along the way, is there any particular points that come to mind where if you had the chance to do this again, what would you do differently, if anything?
There are a number of things that we would have done differently. And I suppose with the benefit of hindsight, there were a number of requirements in the project and a number of assumptions that we would have made within the project that they would have been simpler than they actually were, or the capability would have worked out of the box and it would have been incredibly smooth. And we found that actually some of the small customizations that we made to the front end without touching the core code, which is the first principle of SaaS, is keep it as vanilla as possible. But some of those customizations that we wanted to make on the front end, and for our domestic market, we would have given longer consideration to. So that for sure would have been something that we'd have done differently. We started daily communication probably about halfway through the project, and I probably would have started that sooner and made that as broad across the business as possible. Because
I'm sorry, the communication, would that have been through Slack channels, or how did you manage that communication?
Well, it depends on the audience for that. So we used for our internal communications throughout the team, heavily reliant on Jira. And then for our broader business, keeping them updated through a short daily email bulletin.
Yeah.
So that when they come in the following morning, the broader stakeholders know everything is either red, amber, or green, and there's something that we've got to do about it, or things are running smoothly and on track.
Very good. So a fantastic journey and a fantastic story, and thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So Gordon Newman, thank you.
Thanks, Colin.